Loading Innovation Markets platform.
Well. Innovators, how are we? Hope you're all good. Hope everyone's had a good weekend so far. Sorry this video is a bit later than normal. It's been a pretty manic day. Obviously had to keep the members updated. However, we're here to do a quick brief update because we are actually getting pretty close to what is going to be a 200k reinvestment back into XRP. Now everything has unfolded absolutely beautifully in line with our expectations. Now, total crypto market cap, dying. Everything is absolutely dying. However, first and foremost, before we actually kind of jump into the charts, we're going to go over the total crypto market cap, CME futures, BTC dominance, the four majors, which we consider BTC, F, LTC, and XRP, and some of the others like Sand, Cadena, maybe Solana as well. Some of the ones that we've been keeping you guys up to date with and have successfully predicted the crash on. Now, first and foremost, what I should mention here is, despite this all happening, and despite the fact you may have seen me on Twitter trolling, having a little bit of fun, because do you know what, we deserve it. We've been calling this for a long time. It's finally unfolding and everything's really coming to light now. So I'm very, very excited. Had to go gym, calm my emotions down, have a little break, and here we are now. And what I want to clarify before we actually commence into this is we are technically in a bear market right now. We kind of have that confirmation. What I also want to mention is what we are likely going to see if we do see this continuation lower is a nice retracement back to the upside. So I'm not actually saying right now this is essentially the death of crypto, but we are bloody well near. And seeing this crash currently coming into play is a pretty good sign now of what we've been saying for a while, that we are very likely already trickling down into a bear market unfolding. And what that means is you need to think ahead of time here, and this is what we've been saying for a very long time. There's actually several opportunities that I've marked out on the charts for why this could even go back to 60k once we've potentially seen a little bit of a liquidation to the downside. However, it's not guaranteed. It's something we have to map out and consider, because it would actually be brilliant. This market cycle is now incredibly different to anything we've ever seen before. And if we go over to the weekly time frame, you know, as people always say to me, you love the head and shoulders so much, why? But I like it because this market is now moving in what looks to be a massive range. So if you look at this overall from the prior cycles, we're in a very different phase now. In a way, it is similar because we hit the high, we peaked again in the total market cap when those altcoins exploded and we went lower. Then we kind of consolidated down. So in theory, we are in a similar situation, but the difference is this time, this push higher was not necessarily factored in by a huge altcoin explosion. We had the NFT hype, we had a few altcoins again like Solana, Cadena, Sand, some of those metaverse ones as well, maybe factoring in a bit of an additional pump. But overall, this is a very different market dynamic now and an overall very different market structure. Now that we're breaking below that $2 trillion market cap aggressively, we know as we are starting to bleed out quite a lot now, we're likely going to see some form of swing back to the upside. So I just want to confirm and clarify from the offset that whatever we are covering here, we are looking to buy very soon. Number one, because there is a possibility we could come back into a $2.6 trillion market cap. But number two, because even if it doesn't, we are going to at least try and make 100% from where we are looking to buy next. So there's some beautiful opportunities on the cards. We just released, funnily enough, a new update in our apps, desktop and mobile, for the members, which is an active holdings channel for crypto, where we have a list of all the coins we hold and about 40 to 50 other altcoins with buy and sell targets, both long-term and short-term. Just a day or two after dropping that update, almost every single target has been met. So we're very excited over here, and judging from what this market's doing right now, we are seeing a huge wipeout, as we've been covering in our past few videos, of all of these leveraged positions in the market. We are seeing billions in liquidations as expected, and stop losses are starting to get annihilated. From a total crypto market cap perspective, I'm currently just looking at around $1.4 trillion. However, judging from what the rest of the market could be doing, I am more interested in the 1.2 to $1.2 trillion region. Judging from how this is currently moving, there could be a rather significant spike through, because there are crucial levels of support down here, and many people would likely be expecting price to come into this region. So I'm currently monitoring this quite actively, where I do believe we could be seeing a rather large spike down before seeing a reversal back to the upside. Now, this head and shoulders to me is definitely very interesting, because we have had a head and shoulders here, shoulder, head, shoulder, and price has reversed. And naturally, it does decrease the likelihood massively now that we will ever come back up to these levels. But even me saying this, despite wanting the market to go lower and expecting it to go lower, I have to throw this open as a possibility. The same way I'm very open and neutral in my understanding of the market. If we do see this continuation lower, I'm going to chuck back in 200k, which will be a beautiful buy-in, and it will increase my holdings massively in comparison to what you guys have seen since the beginning of this journey. And I'm just going to try and milk this as much as possible, because I do believe now that we've seen this confirmation. Once we do come back up, it's very likely going to be the final retest, and there's several different levels to monitor for that, in particular around this region over here, where we see a $2 trillion to $2.2 trillion market cap. So if we cannot make it up to here, the first point of call is looking at around this region, where I do believe if we are to come back into this level, now we've got this confirmation, the threats we've been warning you about are incredibly dangerous, and way more dangerous than many people may have expected. I think a lot of people didn't really take us seriously. Maybe they thought we were trolling or just have no clue what we're doing. But the brutal truth is, we've been here many times now, and now this is unfolding. We are just hoping that people are taking us a bit more seriously, because we have seen what so many people are now suffering due to these stupid bullish projections and the 100Ks, the plan Bs. Now you can see why you just have to filter out all of the noise, ignore the fundamentals, ignore who's partnering with who, ignore who's banning crypto, just ignore it all and look at the charts, because it will tell you ahead of time what will even happen in terms of fundamental announcements. This is all manipulation, and we've seen this a lot of times now. So I'm kind of looking at this in a very simple way. We are likely going to push lower a bit more. If we go over to the markets over here, Ethereum is coming into well, first of all, we've hit our 3k target, and we've told the members we are obviously expecting 2k. We told you guys this as well, and BTC potentially coming back to 30k, which, as you can see in this present moment, is bloody well close to being met. XRP's hit our downside target as covered. LTC's hit our $100 target as covered. Going over to Solana, hit our target precisely. Going down to Cadena, we told you guys this is going to drop. We actually covered these ones from up here. Going over to Sand, likely going to go to $2 at this point. Cadena, the way it's dying, I wouldn't be surprised if this starts going towards $2 itself. Solana, just keep your eyes peeled on around $80 or so. As I said, these ones are bigger movers and they have a huge amount to fall. What you need to realize is all of the people that bought during this pump are very likely absolutely annihilated, because there's no price action in the historical left-hand side, so you don't know when to take profit. This is where our profit-taking strategy comes into play. And funnily enough, we actually released that profit-taking strategy just before the market collapsed from the highs. And I've done that for a reason, because I had a very good feeling it was going to drop around that time. Now, seeing all of these coins dropping, you can maybe consider reinvesting around these prices. But to be completely honest with you, what we call now, with the new active holdings channel that we've introduced to the members, these would what we would consider to be short-term targets, where even though we have come down and we've seen a significant drop, we obviously know there's a huge room for these coins in particular to fall all the way down to the lows. And hopefully you can see now, we haven't hit our targets yet, but they are a lot closer than these Moon Boys projections. And it's very likely at this point, if you've hopefully understood what we've been trying to say this whole time, we are very likely going to bottom out on a lot of these coins that have outperformed. And it's very, very likely we are going to start seeing these coming into the lows. So even though there's a bit of a dip in the market now, and this is what I would actually consider a dip, not a dip that's over there, where we are currently coming into, there is an elevated possibility now that BTC is going to take out that 30k floor. It may not be very fast, it may not be very aggressive, but it should at least break through 30k slightly to really activate what we hope to be some nice buys coming through. Ethereum has now basically invalidated. Once this weekly closes in 1 day and 4 hours, we have 100% confirmation the bullish trend is basically broken. Despite it still being a higher low at this present point in time, if we see this coming through into this area, that's going to confirm for me a final swing up. In the same way I'm quite open to a potential head and shoulders on BTC still coming through. To be honest with you, that is a bit wishful at this point in time. I'm going to leave it in at the back of my mind, but at this present point in time, I'm basically thinking any form of upside movement, especially up to that 48-50k region, is going to start taking us down. If we do not hit 20k in this dump, I think the next move up, whether it comes back to 60 or whether it goes to 50, we are going to prepare for a massive drop that's going to take us to $10,000. Now, I'm not going to brag too much. In fact, I don't want to brag. I just want to say I told you so, but not in a bragging way. Now, what's happened today naturally is many people have come forward again and be like, you've been calling this the whole time, you've been bearish the whole time. And I hate addressing this stuff because I always have to address it, because people cannot comprehend what we're trying to say. We have not missed out on anything. We bought the absolute bottom. This is what we've been trying to say all along, and I really hope people are paying attention now. We have made the absolute best decision possible, and we've been trying to get everyone to follow along, because what the majority are thinking is never going to happen, because these are the people that are getting wrecked. Everyone that's getting wrecked right now falls into that category. We are all retail traders here, but we are trying to operate in the same manner that the institutions would likely be operating in as well. I was saying this on Twitter the other day, Michael Saylor buying God knows how much BTC at an average price of $59,000. They are basically doing that. I personally believe Michael Saylor purposely bought all of the BTC at an average price of $59,000 recently because he wanted to offset his losses on his taxes. That is what I personally believe, because overall he says he's never going to sell, but he also has stated, MicroStrategy stated, they can offset their BTC losses if it goes below a certain threshold, and they can use that to then realize the loss and then offset their taxes. So think about it for a second. They can afford to do that, and they have very deep pockets where they can afford to buy at these prices because they have an incentive to do so. But if you're following these individuals, you're going to get absolutely wrecked. And a lot of people, unfortunately, have been absolutely wrecked. And we've been trying to stop this. So for anyone that says, you've been bearish the whole time, again, let's just go back over here and put this all into perspective right now. Let's go back to that weekly and let's understand why we've been bearish the entire time. There could be a lot of new viewers here, and I'm going to be very open and honest with this stuff, and I'll be very serious about it. And if people still don't want to agree, that's fine by me. But we bought at the bottom. We sold the top, we bought here, we sold again. This was $11, disregard, sold again at the top. That again, XRP giveaway, we sold at $1. Our last video that we made, people were saying congratulations for selling at the bottom. Please try and just ignore other people and look at the charts themselves. They will tell you all you need to know. And as we can see now, we could technically buy again at this current price and make a significant gain on what we sold up here. It was a very, very profitable decision. And now that we've broken down into this level, we are very, very close to hopefully what you guys can realize, maybe one more swing up once we break below this 50 cents level to then start leading us down to 20 to 10 cents. Now, for anyone saying you've been bearish the whole time, BTC, as everyone knows, public information, we took a short at 16K. And everyone said you've been bearish, you've missed out on loads of gains. No. When you buy in a bear market at the right prices, which is what we're going to teach you guys to do, and we've given you guys the levels to buy already when they come through. So you're now going to be prepared for the future and potentially set up for life if this does come through. Excuse me, we have not lost any money. We've made a good amount of money, and these are not even our main holdings. For privacy reasons, we cannot show. I don't feel comfortable anymore showing my altcoins. I don't feel comfortable showing my main XRP holdings. The whole purpose of this journey with XRP is to show you a sensible, logical way with no risk at all. We're not really taking that much of a risk because money has been made. And we are showing you a slow and steady journey to eventually turn this into either a million XRP or several $1 million at the bare minimum. So we have been bearish for a long time, but no, we haven't at the same time. We've been neutral because we have been continuously timing every single swing. And all we've been saying in the back of our mind is this is going to be a temporary run. Do not think because BTC's broken all-time highs, it means we'll go to 100K. We simply have to warn you guys because it needs to sink into people's heads. They have to take profit. So in a way, I have to throw this out there because it was the first thing people started saying today. You've been bearish the whole time. A broken clock is right twice a day. Well, guess what? Now you can see it doesn't matter what you think because we are correct and we have made money and we've left this in a winning position. We cannot physically lose right now. And anyone that has been following us and the innovation members are in a significant amount of profit. If we go over to Kraken, the holdings are barely diminished since our last video because there is a significant amount of profit taken and only a fraction of XRP left in the market. If you remember in the last video, I said in the event we break lower, we need our profit taken to be worth significantly more than our holdings because then you've successfully milked the market. It is a pipe dream to try and make multi-millions in one go. And the reason we're doing this journey is to show you guys it doesn't have to be done in one go. It can be strategically over time timing the markets. And there is an element of skill to it, but at the same time, we're not really doing anything crazy. We're not margin trading, we're not leverage trading. It just takes common sense. And when you can buy at the bottom, you can afford to start preparing for when this is going to tank. So yes, we did say it early, but it has eventually come through. And I have to ask you again, who wins in such a situation? The person that buys after a confirmation of a bull run and wants it to go higher but never sells, or the person that buys at the very bottom, profits the whole way up and is now protected in this situation? We're not here to be right or wrong, we are here to make money. And our goal is to educate people to not only make money, but guide them to make money over a very long period of time. I do not want you guys being those people that just have unrealized gains that then become distant memories. And as we've stated from the very offset, since April 2021, we have been in a bear market. And we've been trying to say this, just because BTC went higher, that was basically the final phase of a bear market. If you look at some of these coins, and a good example is LTC with this current bearish trend, since April, May 2021, the market has progressively been moving lower. We have never returned back up. The market shifted after this blowout, the same as the S&P 500 right now. In fact, we said this, when the market, especially on a monthly time frame, when the market starts going parabolic and those bullish candles get bigger and bigger and bigger, it is often indicating the final phase of the market. I think we covered this in the last video as well, in terms of this range. We have now liquidated the highs, so we may very likely need to liquidate these lows. Everyone's still going to be expecting a bullish rally. If you haven't already kind of noticed, we may still go back up to here. Maybe we push up, come into 80k. But the fact of the matter is, you wait for those corrections because they will always come back. Whatever you believe in terms of a bullish side or a bullish aspect is going to happen, the opposite is always going to happen, because that's what they want you to think, because the market is out there to get you. The people that are out there, the influencers, Bloomberg, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, they are not your friends. They are not here to help you. No one is here to help you. We are here to help you. But even with us, do not take everything we say as gospel, but at least take it into consideration. You shouldn't take what I say as gospel, because I could be wrong. There's no 100% certainty in this market, but I feel this video is very important to do, not just from a technical perspective to give you guys an update, but I have to be brutally real here and just say we did tell you, and you also need to just be careful now. And we really hope everyone's taken profit. That's probably the most important thing for me. If people have taken something off the table, you're in a remarkable situation right now, because you can leverage this. Now, coins like XRP, one of my favorites. The reason why I like this is because I can comfortably buy around these levels, because number one, it will be very, very profitable if we break below 50 cents. And we have several areas where we are looking to buy it if we break down below. The problem is with BTC and Ethereum is if they break lower, even if they whip back up, it's still a very, very high price and they have a very long way to fall. Now that this is all unfolding, it could get a lot worse for crypto. We saw when Biden threatened to kind of sanction Russia because they were threatening to invade Ukraine, and I saw loads of stuff on Twitter, you know, this is bullish, Bitcoin fixes this. Then Russia came out and threatening to ban it. Just ignore the news, look at the charts, and it will very likely tell you what's going to happen. I'm actually a bit annoyed because I did try and get a little bit of extra profit out of XRP at 90 cents when it was going to push up, hopefully. However, we failed to see that, and our downside targets have come through instead. So I need you guys to just start being a bit more neutral. Try not to have that kind of bias of an alt season. Everyone's been saying alt season this, alt season that. No, it doesn't matter. Don't think of a particular event, you know, the SEC settlement, all of this crazy stuff that people throw out. The market does not care in the slightest about our feelings and desires, and there's a lot that could be happening in this situation. So the main thing you need to be focusing on right now is predominantly BTC and Ethereum, because this trend line has been broken, which is a major factor for what we could be seeing coming through. In theory, if it breaks down below, this trend line is going to be our guidance for where it can come back up. What we need right now, fear and greed index, extreme fear. I'm not in fear, the innovators are not in fear, and hopefully you guys are not in fear. I've been dancing and grinning pretty much all day. Look at the CME futures chart. We have relative risks underlying in this market right now. As we told you guys, these downside gaps over here very likely will come in and get filled eventually. These go all the way down to 10k, and we know where we're looking, around 8 to 6k BTC. First of all, we've got a gap to be fulfilled here, but with the underlying 20k risk, as we've covered in the last video, 24k, 18k, very possible now. We are a lot closer to these downside targets than we are anywhere near these 100k projections. So for anyone saying you've been calling this the whole time, yes, we have, but our targets have actually come through and we stuck to it. So whereas anyone that called 100k has not only absolutely fucked everybody, and no, we need to start, people need to be held accountable for this stuff. And I'm a bit angry today as well. I'm not just excited, but I'm angry that there's people out there that have no idea what they're doing and actually throwing out these wacky predictions to get those course sales, to get those signups, to get those followers, to get those retweets. To be honest with you, it's actually been pissing me off a bit today, because a lot of people have come forward to me and just said, I wish I just kind of had the common sense to just take some profit. I was up so much. Someone said they was up 500k, now they're down significantly. And they're telling me, I openly stated today, tell me who the hell has been guiding you wrong, and I will expose them myself, because I'm sick of it. I said this in the last video. People can say to me, or someone said to me recently, oh, but then if you want to help people, why do you charge for a service? Well, as you can clearly see, we charge for a service for a reason, because we know what we're doing. And if you're good at what you do, you don't do it for free. Whereas people that are charging for a service and have now left everyone wrecked, it's not very good, is it? And most of the time, the people telling you to buy the dips are not even buying it themselves. And we need to start holding these people accountable. And in terms of, why do you charge for stuff for free? We give these videos out for free now on a weekly basis pretty much. Granted, when the market was a bit slow over here, I didn't want to do a video because there wasn't much to update on. And that's also a lesson in itself. When the market's not moving too much, don't overstress it. That's a very crucial aspect of this as well. I like to throw in some psychological advice when it comes to the market updates and the crypto outlooks as well. When the market's ranging like this, the problem is a lot of people in that situation, they start drawing more lines. They're trying to figure out what direction the breakout's going to go. Instead of focusing on the shorter intraday movements, stick to those weeklies, those dailies, those monthlies, because they can often really paint a good picture. And that monthly at the moment tells me there is a bit more potential room to go down. Naturally, some people are still in a phase where they're predicting it's still going to go higher. As we dip lower, and I said this, you won't realize you're in a bear market until it's too bloody late. And at this present point in time, I would say we're very likely heading into a bear market, or we should be in one now. Maybe you still think I'm crazy, but we're pretty close. We've hit a crucial level of support over here on XRP. Naturally, over here where you see double tops, you've got double tops over there and there. So now we need to eventually return back. There's a clean trend line. All of these charts are essentially sloping down, especially the altcoins over here. They're progressively shifting lower. Now, what that tells me is we're very likely going to come down to the bottom at some point. And I said this as well, it may take several years to actually fully blow through the roof. But you have to realize it doesn't mean crypto's dead. What we are saying here is we're just in a very speculative, heavily leveraged market. So there are numerous opportunities here to make a lot of money and accumulate your coins in a very simplistic process. And what we mean by simplistic is there's actually, the only strategy here is buy low, sell high. It sounds very easy. And to be honest with you, it's very easy. All it requires is patience. Now, what we mean by that is in this moment where everything's pumping, people psychologically are inclined to jump into the market because they won't buy at the bottom because they're too scared. But when the market's absolutely rocketing, that's when the average person or the average Joe deems it a safe time to invest, because that's when it's going up. It must be too big to fail. Doesn't mean it's failed. It doesn't mean it's dead. But what it means is the people that are manipulating this market and controlling this market know exactly what the majority are thinking. And all you need to do is jump on social media to really get an understanding of that. And what I personally think is this doesn't mean the death of crypto. Otherwise, I wouldn't be looking to reinvest if we break lower. I am so bullish on crypto, you do not understand. And this is what I'm trying to say. I'm not bearish. I'm just saying the market is bearish because this is what I see. What I kind of project and say publicly is what I perceive the charts to be. Every single person you look at has a different way of looking at the markets. And this has fascinated me for a very long time because we are all looking at the exact same charts and patterns and lines and whatever it may be. We all have the exact same charts, but we all perceive it in a different manner. And the only way you're truly going to succeed in crypto is by viewing it in a completely neutral, unbiased manner. And if you can do that, you're going to see massive elevation in your trading results or your investment results. People will say, but what about your taxes? Who cares? I'd rather have profitable, I'd rather have profits after taxes than being unrealized losses and stuck in positions. And to be brutally honest with you, I've actually got a few altcoins that I invested in during the DeFi phase, not at the absolute highs, but once they crashed, and they're in a bit of drawdown right now. But I'm happy to do that because I haven't bought the tops. And what I've done for that reason is to hedge them against any potential crashes in the market, because now, if everything works out, I can accumulate lower. If we are to now see this wipe out and suddenly see a massive alt season, I can leverage that as well. But some of the altcoins I've taken profits off of, but with the active trading portfolio, which is what I'm showing you guys, I'm almost trying to take it all out. And what I'm currently thinking is, around these current prices, if we see a breach below this 50 cents region, I'm going to put about 200k back in. That leaves me with 100k left to potentially buy a dip if it goes against me. But what I'm intending to do, if we break below 50 cents and start dipping very, very low, is flipping the holdings if we reverse back up. The reason I sold at $1 and the reason why we gave the members this call as well is because in the event we do see this reversal back down, we have hedged ourselves again. And when the market is essentially going bearish, I think I've told you guys this before, this is a good example here, the $16,000 or almost $17,000 sell. This is when the market was absolutely bearish and at the brink of death. When it pumped back up, you take that profit. Because when the market's moving into a bearish phase and you need to kind of just be neutral and accept that, any form of swing higher is likely going to be continued and followed up by a continued move lower. So with this movement here, we have now protected ourselves again and saved ourselves and given ourselves an extra 50k. And this can now be utilized. I mean, even right now in theory, so we sold 50,000 XRP here. Now, if we go over here and put 50,000, I can now get 84,850 XRP. And we haven't even hit 50 cents yet. And that for me is a remarkable gain when you put it into perspective. You not only have to protect yourself, but it's just simple. You know, don't look at the actual numbers. A lot of people don't actually even look at the charts. They just look at prices. They see we're near $1 and everyone thought this was going to be that crazy level which holds up. But once this broke, that confirmed for me. You have to look at the psychological levels that people are looking at. And every dip lower, when the kind of bull run dream is over, people look at the market and go, cool, we're going to dip, then we're going to reverse. This is the bounce. And I've seen this on Twitter. Every single support floor, people are going, this is it, turning point, turning point, turning point, turning point, turning point, until you're back at the bottom. Don't do that. It's very, very dangerous. And again, I know I'm being a bit harsh, but I just feel it's very necessary right now. BTC dominance. The only real indicator that would propose we are potentially going to see altcoins go a bit higher is the BTC dominance potentially dropping. But as we covered in the last video, we did see some bearish action. People got excited saying this is the alt season trigger, but no, it's still remaining in line with these crucial levels of support. And if this starts pushing up, you're going to see that BTC dominance eventually going back to 70, and that's where it's going to take the rest of the market with it. Even with a very low BTC dominance right now, that alt season dream is basically over for the time being. And at the very least, I want to see 60 to 64% returning, crucial levels of support and resistance as well. But I'm a bit skeptical right now. I think a lot of people are probably looking at where we currently are. If we go to the weekly, again, naturally, we're very, very close. We're only $2,000 away from the CME gap. There's local support down below. And again, think of the amount of buy orders and how many people have gone long. Naturally, everyone going long is going to have stop losses below this region. And we know that could easily take us to 20k. So you've got to be very, very careful of that as well. Not to mention, if they did catch this long here, stop losses may be at break even. So if we do hit that 30k region, stop losses will potentially be stopped out at break even, and you're going to see a series of those being triggered and likely create a liquidation a little bit down below as well. So I'm definitely expecting some form of breach down here, but at the same time, there is a nice little trend unfolding as well. But I think we're well on our way now to what's very soon going to be a 10k and potentially even a 6k BTC. Ethereum, you know, people thought I might be a bit crazy for even saying 2k, but same as BTC, there is a potential to maybe come back up to this level. I'm not going to disregard that. Another head and shoulders, they're moving almost in symmetry right now. Whereas some of the other altcoins, XRP, LTC, look very, very similar. We did say our main target for LTC is around $60 within this range. Bloody hell, $40 away. We're not that far. Very, very close now. And basically, if you want to make money in this market, avoid the temptation to buy here. Simply just sit back and wait. If you want to make true money in this market, just don't buy. Accept you've missed out, and we always say this, you have to accept you've missed out. You know, we missed out on Solana, Cadena, all of that stuff. But in theory, if I want to, I can just sit back now, knowing where Solana has gone, all the way up to $260. If this starts crashing down to the lows, imagine it goes back to like $1 or $2. I will very likely buy a lot of Solana if that is to be the case, and I do believe that will be the case, because at this point in time, support is now being breached, crucial levels. Something we always say on coins like this is when there is no support down below until this logical level, that tells me at the bare minimum this can go to $40, and it's very, very close to doing that right now. Same as Cadena, broke through support. Look at this breakout. The actual real level of resistance is located around $2. Now, why is that? Because if you push this down a bit more, resistance, 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 boom. We've absolutely ripped through $2 and we have never returned back to retest. 99.9% of the time, price will return to retest another level, the level it's broken out from. It can take several years, it could take longer. We are on the verge of what could be many financial markets on the brink of collapse, and we can see how this is all trickling down. Now, instead of buying this pump for short-term and instant gratification, why not just sit back, let everyone have their fun, knowing they're not going to take profit anyway, and just accumulate your funds? In the time of, instead of investing here, you could have spent this entire time either saving a pot on the side and waiting to reinvest at these prices. And if everything starts dropping lower, factor in the total market cap as well with where it currently is, there could be a bigger movement, and we can see that total market cap come into this region as well. So overall right now, we are really on track to achieve our targets. And what I'm hoping to do in the next series of buying is try and get over 500 to 600k XRP. I want to see this break down into these levels down here. I want to buy when we breach hopefully 50 cents. Again, I think what's happening here right now, similar to how this has a bit of room to go down, if these need to hit these support levels, this could bring those altcoins down a bit further, coming into some crucial levels. Now, if that is to be the case, remember, this is our key sign here, that we could just be taking that little dip lower as well. Now, if that's to be the case, naturally, as we've started dipping into this level, people are just thinking, cool, support, 50 cents, we need to start buying, this is an optimal moment. But the market often plays tricks. And my biggest concern now is, even if we start reversing from this level, there's key supports all over here turned resistance. If you kind of drag this all the way over, what a critical level with multiple points of retesting. This is kind of reversed in a very false manner, hit our $1 sell up there, broken through. So naturally, we need to see this level return. Now, if it comes up straight away, it's likely going to start crumbling all the way down to the bottom. I will then forget about buying and take even more profit. So over here, with this remaining 135,000, I was actually looking to sell the 35k at around 90 cents, but that didn't come through. No problem, we shift and adapt, we move and flow with the market. I was hoping one little cheeky 35k XRP being sold at 90 cents just to add to this dip coming lower, but unfortunately we missed it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get rid of all of this XRP before we potentially hit a very significant bottom. What I do think is, if we do push a bit higher, we may just slightly go above $1. So when I re-enter about 200k back into the market, when we do see a swing back to the upside, I'm also going to try and take out the entire 135k XRP that's remaining. What that should hopefully leave we with at that point in time is anywhere from maybe 600, 700k, maybe more, depending on how high it goes. And what I'm then going to do is replicate the process to reinvest similar to the level I invested in here in 2020 March. And instead of around $30,000 or so, I'm going to look to put in anywhere from $500 to potentially even $1 million at this price. And then what that does is, by simply timing this cycle, this will then allow me to never need a moon again in my life. Because once I get over my target for this journey that I wanted to publicly show of 1 million XRP, every dollar becomes $1 million movement. You no longer need a moon. The same way those institutions don't need the moon, because a single dollar movement is significant life-changing money to them. And that's my plan here. Once this all comes through, if we do see that dip into the 10 cents region, and personally, judging from the level of euphoria in this market at present, I'm actually a little optimistic that we may even breach 10 cents and just slightly liquidate that floor down below as well. That's what I think is necessary to absolutely scare everyone. Those long-term holders, the people claiming the SEC case is going to be over. And as we told you, we do believe before the SEC case is over, which has also been extended, Understandable, nothing goes to plan. That's why we don't have timelines on this stuff. Don't give yourself a timeline, because you will be led up to disappointment. And what I think is important at this point in time is understanding, before that SEC case comes through, we may need to go in for the maximum fear of breaking that 10 cents region. Not quickly, I mean, not like dying and going to minus, but essentially what we see here many times, just slightly dipping in, flies through, and then continues rocketing. And what I believe will happen once we dip down into these levels, many people will be out, because a lot of people bought up here expecting that, $10, $100, 20, 30 million, whatever it may be. And once we have seen every single person wiped out, we're likely going to start seeing that positive news return again, where eventually, maybe even all the way up to 2025. I'm willing to wait that long. I don't know about you guys, but I'm willing to wait that long. And once we can potentially get that million XRP down here, every single move higher, happy days. And what I'm also thinking on the side as well, I may even put more money in from personal funds and potentially go in with another 200k as well on the side. So I'm going to obviously let the members know beforehand about that as well. But something me and Bernie were discussing today is maybe just chucking in an extra 100k each, just for the sake of trying to buy some nice dips here, making some quick money. So I'm really looking forward to all of this unfolding. But again, this video, we need to wait for some movements. I can't give away all of our buy and sell limits, obviously, but I've kind of given you guys a very good insight into, number one, what I'm expecting, number one, what's happened. And again, please don't get defensive and try and attack us. We're just simply saying this is what we've been saying all along, and we're just hoping that people can now take this on board. I hope, more importantly, that during these times in the market, everyone is okay. More importantly as well, I know I love to troll and mess around. It's funny. The only reason I really troll is because people just attack me 24/7 when I'm just trying to help people. But in theory, I'm actually a bit concerned for some people, because I've seen some horrific losses today, and a lot of people have come forward. This person told me this is going to happen. I listened to this person. I shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. So I just hope you guys are okay. And more importantly, just remember, guys, at the end of the day, you do not want to get into a bad situation. It's money. It can be retrieved. Our goal here, if you haven't followed along on this journey and it hasn't worked out too well, it can be retrieved. There's more than enough money in the world. There's more than enough money in the markets. Just stick with us. We're hopefully showing by now it's working. This is the correct strategy to adopt in this current cycle. And if you're in a bad situation right now, we are here to help you. We've no innovators. Obviously, the members have come forward and said they're in a bad situation because they followed. But if you are in a bad situation, these videos are here to help you, and we are going to do everything in our power for anyone that's kind of been a bit fucked up from this situation, whether that's from a mentor you've trusted or just YouTube videos. We are going to get you back up and running. We're going to get you back into a positive. Some people have DM'd me what to do. I've helped them out. Anyone that's having difficulties, just rest assured we are here to guide you every step of the way. So I hope this has been a bit of a valuable video, a bit of a valuable lesson as well, just covering what's going on right now. But again, do not fear. Just because we may dip lower, it doesn't mean we're necessarily going straight to the lows right now. I think we're kind of overdue a bit of upside movement now, and I'm sure you guys can probably see that as well. It needs to go up. There's a lot of fear, the fear and greed index, and we want to see that tick back over, because now that people are in fear, we're going to start seeing panic selling, and it's very likely, if we see a continuation further, people are going to panic sell, and that's going to aid a little bit of an additional drop. And if that's to be the case, once these people have sold, we know that is then our cue to buy. So once we can hopefully see another dip, I'm not too content yet. Some people have said, why don't you just buy now? But no, I have a plan, I have a strategy, and I have strict principles. We have the innovation markets principles that we stick to. If I missed a reversal, let's say it reverses from here, that's fine. I would just take profits instead and scale out even more. I have to stick to my plan. I have certain conditions. The members know this as well. If it doesn't work out as expected, I do not execute. I never jump the gun. I like to wait for confirmation. And I'm seeing a bit of positivity from people saying this is the bounce, this is the bounce. So it's kind of giving me a bit of an incline that we may actually go a little bit lower first before seeing some nice upside reversals. But what I will say is, if we do manage to see these upside reversals coming back into play, your only focus here, same way we said this may be your final chance from the market, it was basically giving you a blessing to take profit. If you do get another swing higher, please guys, just consider scaling out some profits. That way, if history for whatever reason does repeat itself and go all the way down to the bottom, you have those profits to buy the dip. And when we say dips, we mean the real dips. Do not buy these coins around here for a short-term gain. Do not buy this here for the gain, because overall, this could go a lot lower. And as you guys know, that $200 Ethereum is looking rather juicy in my eyes as well. A lot of these coins could potentially bottom out, because what's coming forward, again, the regulatory aspects, we're hearing the whole rubbish about, oh, they're going to ban this, they're going to ban that. Try not to pay too much attention to that and just look at the technicals. We are very early in this space, and that means, you know, how everyone says we're early adopters. We're still young, we're still early. If that's to be the case, which is true, because most of this technology is incomplete, that means you're going to be here for a very long time, and the markets have a long way to go before they mature, before they're actually brought into a mainstream light. So you have plenty of time, there's no rush. Do not buy crypto every week. I know Coinbase offers incentives and Binance does. No. Just simply sit back, be very, very relaxed. Don't chase the market. As you've probably seen by now, we set our levels in anticipation and we simply wait for the market to come to us. If it invalidates, we move on to the next target. Continuously moving flow with the market. That is honestly one of the greatest ways you can play this cycle. Eventually, over time, we're going to slowly but surely probably just continue higher and higher and higher. And as we always say, the market overall, over time and time and time, is continuously bullish. But this is all leverage and speculation right now. So you're constantly seeing huge drops. This is not a store of value. It's not a hedge against inflation. You're a lot better off just leaving money in the bank if you want to be protected. This is a volatile, dangerous asset and a volatile, dangerous space that at the moment is still in its infancy. So you cannot treat a very short-term market with a long-term mindset. We're not actually at that maturity stage yet to be treating this with a long-term view. It's providing numerous opportunities to make money, and it's there for the taking. You just have to be brave enough to go for it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it was a bit later than expected. I'm going to get this clipped up and sent out to you guys as soon as possible. And looking and judging from it, we're going to see a lot of action moving forward over the next few weeks. So if that is to be the case, we should be able to maintain doing a video every week. The minute we can get our buys triggered as well, we're going to make a new video for you guys once the movement's happened. Once the members have managed to utilize the buys, or we have, and prices moved away, not to give away the personal information, we jump into a new video and continue rolling in line with the market. So I hope you guys have found this valuable, and more importantly, stay safe out there and have a great weekend.